Welcome back to RecNation. In this episode, we're going to take the motor, get it installed inside the engine bay here, get everything hooked up, and we'll try to fire this thing up.
First thing we gotta do is get this lowered down into the engine bay. You can see I got the mounting plate bolted to the bottom of the engine here. And as this goes down, I'm going to have to kind of tip it up like this to get it to go. Okay, there it's all in. So here you can see how that lines up. This is that drive coupler we put on before, and there's that rubber connector that goes in between and hooks it to the drive line. So when you put that in, you gotta make sure it's nice and level, and we'll show you that later. Here's where the bolts go into the hull. You can see there actually is some spacers that go in there, and those spacers are what are going to keep that drive line straight. So you got to put the spacers in for the size you need, and you can slide that engine back and get everything nice and tight. So first step is kind of checking that, make sure everything's lined up and that everything is level. Then we can everything looks level, so we can go ahead and put our bolts in. Okay, bolts are all in and tightened up. Everything looks good so far. Now we can start hooking everything up to get this thing ready to go. Over here you see that's the water inlet. That's got to get hooked up. Down here is where the stator cover goes. Get the exhaust on here. And we got a few odds and ends to do down under here for the carburetors of the throttle cable.
Okay, so I stayed up a little late last night working on it. Got all the little tedious stuff done. That'd be boring to put into a video. You guys are going to want to watch all that, but throttle cable's on. This is the cable that runs the oil pump. Choke cable's on. See the chokes work. Here's the throttle. We got the stator back on. Got the wires plugged in. Battery cable's on. Mounted the control box here. Put the exhaust on. Put the water inlet in. So right now it's actually, I got a couple of wires left to hook up. This runs back to the trim and bilge pump, and then this actually is temp sensor that goes into the exhaust. So it's ready right now to actually try to fire it up. But what I want to do first is actually run a compression test quick to see what the cylinders are at. I have the jump box back here just to kind of make sure it turns over good. So we'll start with the first one. These are just hand tightened in when I put them in, just so that nothing fell into the piston. Grab compression tester. That's in there. Alright, it should spin over. Yeah. One says it's right at about 120. You can see on the dial. That's good. Three quick blast, and that one's right about 122. So that's right in the good range where you want it to be. Okay. Oh, that one's just under 100. It's like 100 and close enough to call it 120. As long as all three cylinders are within 10%, it's gonna run. And I believe the minimum is about 90 on the compression. So in that 120, this is well into the green, and we're good to go here. So we'll put the spark plugs back in. And we can give it a test fire. I don't have any gas in it yet, but I got some ether We'll just try a quick, it's not good to run these out of the water. The water helps lubricate the drive system back there. And hopefully we can just get it fired up, let it run for a second or two. Okay. We don't have the exhaust on yet, but I think I'm gonna grab some ether. We'll just spray a little starting fluid in here and it'll be the moment of truth. Let's see if the bad dog will start up. Just a smidge. Should do it. Here we go. It's a runner. It's a runner. She runs. There it is. That's cool. Now we can finish getting the exhaust on. It sounds pretty badass. So we'll get the exhaust on. We'll get the air cleaner on here, and we're ready to take it out to the lake and give her a little test drive. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, I let the air kind of clear up this little smoke in there. Next thing we do is we're gonna get the exhaust mounted on here. It's got a gasket that goes on back under here. This is what it looks like. This has been sitting for a while, and one of the things you want to make sure that there's nothing inside this. And sure enough, what I ended up doing is this is a piece of a choke cable that was cut off. Kind of bent a hook in it. Use that to shove it down in there, work it around a little bit, and then I took the shop vac on blow mode, blew through it, and we got some stuff out. I'll show you on the floor over here. Sure enough, looks like a mouse had started making a nest in that thing. So if that's in there, that could plug up your exhaust system and you get back pressure and that thing will not run right at all. So you want to make sure you get stuff like that out of that exhaust system. That was just a little bit of it. There was probably about 3 times that much that came out of there. So it's all good now, all cleaned out, so we're ready to assemble. Okay, so this has, it mounts like this. It mounts in there like this here. This actually, there's 2 bolt holes here, and there's a gasket that fits on. Let me get the gasket on there. And it's got 1 stud to help kind of line it up. Just like that. And this mount goes on just like this once all those are in. Just like that. This is actually the temperature sensor. That goes in over here. The next fun trick will be getting this exhaust elbow on. It's got to go back down under here. Might not be too bad, but it'll look like fun. Look at this, you want to orientate it so that when you put it on, the hose clamp is got to be oriented in a way that you can get to it with a screwdriver. So this goes on like this. This thing can come from the side this way, and this one will put on like this so we can get it from the side as well. Next step is go ahead and get the airbox installed. Fits this will be fun. Down in here like so. not least, just gotta put the cover on. There it is. It is all set. Just gotta gas her up and we can take her for a test drive. Thanks for watching this episode of RecNation. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep making some more content like this. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.